Okay, welcome once again to the Salmon Falls Bridge, South Fork of the American River, Northern California. Right as it hits the Salmon Falls Bridge, this is the area called Skunk Hollow. That's Little Acorn Creek that I've had a few lessons about. That's the hole that I've torn into before. Today's lesson or installment is going to be a little bit more about the geography and a little less about gold. A lot of people go up canyon, and I'm just going to show what's to be had up there. It's not a trip for the faint of heart. Don't bring the kids. Basically, there's the far shore and the near shore. This is the shore that is hooked up with the state of California parking lot up there and easily accessible. To access the far shore, you have to go to the far end of the bridge there and sort of drop down along the rocks and then crawl along those rocks there. So the trip on the far side is harder. It's a little steeper and there's less easy spots. And also, I don't know anyone who's ever found gold over there. I've worked it, other people have worked it. So first geography, stay on this side of the river. The amount of gold that I find here at right near the bridge is the same as what you find up canyon, but everybody wants to find some special spot, and it is different up there, so we'll take a little trip. Okay, I've gone a little farther, and now the going is getting rough. When you look at those rocks there, you have to come right over them, and this gets worse. You can see that people have come along and dug out under these big rocks. I'm sure they found a little bit of gold. You always do find a little. The problem is, of course, the water is not moving, so you gotta pan it out or take it elsewhere. I will point out one of the really nice things about this particular location, and that is I will be quiet and I want you to listen. You hear that car crossing the bridge, and then it is silent. Very tranquil here. I'm heading that way over those big rocks. We'll see where we go. You can see here that I'm at the point of the bend where I'm about to lose sight of the bridge. You can also see how hard it would be to negotiate the far shore, so don't try it. That's just really hard there. As to this side, I have to go over those rocks there. That's what I'm talking about, how this gets very difficult. At lower water, you can go around that rock, step around there, but right now that's underwater. If you have boots, it doesn't matter. But in general, from this point on, you got to plan on going over rocks like that. So you can see I've come a little bit farther around the bend. There's that hard to pass over boulders on the far side. This is what I call the first outcropping, or the first vein of quartz. You can see these veins that run up to the cliff face. There's a little bit bigger one just around that corner there, before you get where you can't see it from this angle. These are actual mineralized quartz veins of Northern California. This is where you find lode gold. And if you find a lot of it, it's the mother lode. A vein like this would historically be mined. Someone would mine right back into that cliff face, but with those rocks right above it, you can see that if you went too far, you might really kind of regret it. That would be a big engineering feat. You can see chips of quartz all over the place where amateurs have whacked at this vein trying to find some gold. The problem is less than 1 in 20 of these veins will actually bear gold, and the ones that do, it could be 2 inches or 2 meters down, and you could go broke before you ever hit it, and it's amazingly frustrating. A buddy of mine's a geologist, and one of the major mines around here has run out of places to go, and they've asked him, hey, can you come down here as a geologist and tell us which vein is going to produce gold? Where should we start digging? We'll pay you anything. And he said, hey guys, close your eyes, spin around and point. There's no way to know. And he has no better knowledge than the gypsy fortune teller. In this area, I've had a little bit of luck in lower areas like that, because if there is any gold in this face, the rain's going to bring it down and it's going to wash down to there. So it's a place to pan if you are so inclined, or you can go farther and look. For many for many years I would try to go as far up as I could to look for gold on the theory that I was more exclusive the farther I was. And you know what? I found the same amount of gold as far as you can see as I did right under the bridge. But it is a different temperament here. It's very quiet. A lot of times the fishermen come by, you see a lot of boaters and stuff, and it is quiet, but to each his own. Just telling you about gold washing down. I grabbed my little spade, put 4 trowelfuls of just sand in, sloppily panned it out, and then here you find one teeny little piece of gold there. So that's a good sign to prove my theory. What I'm going to do is just suck up all that black sand. I'm not going to try to pan it out anymore right now. And then at the end of the day, try to clean up all the black sand that's going to contain the gold in this area. This is a point right along the first stripe that I was talking about. I just moved about 10 meters past where I was. And you can see this is a verifiable vein of quartz. It's weathered. Someone's chipped away at it and has that nice pearly white. So if you want to come here and hard rock mine, you've got your spot. This is just to show you once again that I'm not kidding. This is a tough path. I just came over those rocks and those rocks behind them and those rocks behind them. When the water is lower, that's actually kind of the path. But the higher the water gets, the steeper these walls get. This becomes no joke. I'm getting near the end of this first little trail that I use here at Salmon Falls. You can look back where we came from. You can see how rough it is. Can't see the bridge anymore. And then see the river nice and clear. This is a look at what we tend to call the second rapids, and you don't see any rapids. There's let's see, straight dead center in the shot is a rock. That rock is sort of marks the end of the first phase of Salmon Falls. The river comes down and hits that rock and then turns into this where it widens out. Normally, 3/4 of the way from that big rock to where I stand, there's a set of rapids, and you can see the water is swirling in the mist. That, with low water, that's another place to set up a sluice. But again, you either set it up in Acorn Creek when the water is this high, or you don't set it up at all. Up around that far bend, I have not gone that far. You can see that it gets real hard to negotiate that rock. It's certainly possible, but probably some diminishing returns involved. If you had a boat, it'd be no big deal. But a lot of people do come to this area, make it over that bit of a challenging climb to get to the wide spot, again, to utilize second rapids to be able to sluice. No such luck. Again, looking at the landscape, that's another vein of weathered quartz going back up into the hill. You can actually see a little bit of it up there, heavily weathered, kind of brown. So again, this is a deposit of hard rock quartz, which could contain gold, and if it did and it fell down here, you could go down there and pan it. Now, of course, getting down there is not easy. My strategy is going to be to go back a little ways and find a spot where there's some sand and a rock to sit on, and pan some of the tailings that are coming off of this cliff face. Again, this is as far as most people go, and if you're planning on going, today is the 24th of March 2015, so you can look on the internet and find out what the lake levels were, and if the lake levels are this high or even close to it, you know there won't be rapids on the South Fork of the American River. Talk to you soon. This is a look at the kind of spot I was talking about. Again, cliff face, rain, trickle, 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 trickle. And then there's some sand here. If there was any gold, it would potentially sink into the sand here. You can see, even on the surface, there's a tremendous amount of black sand. Of course, this has been gone over 18 million times, including with boat dredges. So it's pretty clean black sand, but you can see this is the right area to be. Someone has sort of torn up that area there, digging under that rock. And there's a potential there. Oops, sorry. Gonna make you nauseated here. Loose rock here, loose rock there. Just various things to sample. You may find some specks, you may not. And then again, you can there's access to some water here. It's a little gentle, so you have a place to pan. So I think I'll set up camp here for a little bit and see what happens. So in the end, working a teeny little hole like this, digging down maybe a foot with my hand, I finished up. This is all the same idea of working at the base of the cliff. May have nothing to do with the cliff, may have to do with the catchment, just as the water is coming over these rocks and collecting in little gullies. But that's the end result, which for I'm quite pleased with. That's about as much as I've gotten anywhere in Northern California in one day. Yeah, that's a keeper. The I don't know if my little camera will focus. Probably not. But you can see all that beautiful stuff that the 49ers left behind. So, happy hunting to you all, and I'll keep you posted.